And I'm live. Oh, hello, Creative Tartanites. Welcome to my live stream eventually. I have had lots and lots and lots of difficulties with this, so much so that I suspect everybody's still on the other live stream. I have to say I'm not impressed with YouTube tonight. I have tried every which way but lose to get the live stream going. So I don't know what to say. I'm just taking a deep breath and hoping that everybody is going to find me. I'm just sending a little message to my chat admin person, so my moderator. So that she can tell everybody and we'll be able to get on with things. Okay. Hello. You have found me. Oh my goodness. I know I'm a bit rusty, but for goodness sake, this is ridiculous. I decided that as I only had, can you hear me all right? Can everybody hear me okay? Oh, Mona's left the link on the other stream. Oh, thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? I decided that as I was only using my webcam, that I would just use the quick webcam option in YouTube. And, you know, I thought I was all smart. I was ready at 5:45. I've been sitting on twiddling my thumbs for 15 minutes to then start live. And then every time I hit live, it just gave me the circle and it wouldn't go live and it wouldn't go live. I tried restarting the computer, restarting my router. I tried to go in with OBS, tried to put in the key and the stream, and in the end I just decided this is not happening and went for a new stream. So hello. Let me just see. We've got hi Gail, hi Michael Ann, hello Madonna, hi Mona, hi Laura. Oh, hello Ian Jackson, how are you? I hope you're not being chased by the blob. And oh, my room is backwards. Is it backwards? Yes, it is. Huh. How bizarre. I have no idea how to change that. But yeah, you're right. It does seem to be backwards. No, it's not. Not to me, it's not, but it might be to you. Hello, Ian of Kilter Crafter. Ian. Okay. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Is that what it is? The door being open? Yes, I've usually got the door open, so it's not backwards, right? Hello, guys. It's been so long. I knew I was worried about not being able to remember what to do, but this whole with YouTube, it's just everything was all set up. It was set up perfectly, and then it just wouldn't go live. So I've had to, as I said, do another different stream. So what's new with you guys? I've obviously got lots to catch up with. Oh, hello, Gail. Hi. Gail's saying it's the upside down world today. Yes, I kind of feel like my world has been chucked upside down today, to be fair. I don't know if you can see my painting in the background is finished. Yay! So that's going into a local art exhibition, so that should be fun. I should be handing it in next week sometime. And good news, I finally finished my portrait. Ta-da! So it's finally finished, done. Just need to get it framed now. So the reason I haven't, oh, the reason I haven't been on YouTube and I haven't even posted any videos for ages, there's lots of different reasons. Thank you everyone. First of all, I was having some technical difficulties, so that's why I've not posted any recorded videos, because for some reason I wasn't getting my files into Premiere Elements, which is my usual editing software, and then then there's all sorts of other things happened, and cut a long story short, I eventually figured out a way how to uncorrupt, because I think the file was corrupted, so I managed to figure out how to sort it, and I managed to get it in, and it's in the process of being edited now. So that's taken quite some time, because there's a lot of downloading of other software and things to try and fix it, to try and find out why it wasn't letting me put the file into my editing software, and none of the other softwares were working either, which was then what led me to believe that it was a file, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Very boring story, but that's why I've not had any videos for ages. That, and I've been busy with some of my own projects that I wasn't really wanting to record, just because I just wanted a break from having the camera on. There's, for anybody who's a creator, you will all kind of sort of have experienced that sense of there's a different feeling that you get when you're painting when the camera's on, and I just wanted to paint without the camera on, and that's what I have done. So I've not really had the same recordings to edit, and then I had the problems. Then, oh, hello, hi Nancy, hiya, how are you doing? So yeah, there's been lots of things, and then life kind of got in the way, and then my free time was no longer my time to paint, and there was various other different things going on. I've been getting really into my photography as well, and I'm actually wondering if you guys, if anybody here would be interested in maybe some photography type videos, maybe like a kind of vlog style, going out and actually doing some sort of photo shoots and seeing. Mona's asking, can I show the genie painting up close? Pretty please. See as how you've asked so nicely. Let me go and grab it. There you go. Is that close enough? So that's the genie. Whew. Just catching up on some of the Ian says that he gets that too. He feels that he has a different sense when he's filming his creativity. So yeah, I think it's quite common, really, to be honest. And I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to be back live. Just feel a bit, because I had so much problems getting on, but I'm here. So the plans for today, I'm going to do a portrait, and seeing as how I've not really had as much painting as I would have liked to have had over the last few weeks, I kind of feel a little, I don't know what to paint. I don't know, and you know, that sense of I really want to paint, but I'm not really sure, and not really feeling that inspired per se. So I thought I would kind of talk a little bit about getting back into a painting when you've not been painting for some time and you maybe feel a little bit rusty, you're feeling a little bit not sure what to paint. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity to kind of work through some of those thoughts and feelings, because let's face it, folks, at the end of the day, they're just thoughts and feelings. There's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing weak about it. There's nothing that, you know, necessarily has to be, quote, fixed. It's just about finding a way to inspire ourselves. Because I'm really, whilst I can appreciate that ideas and inspiration can kind of come quite spontaneously, I also believe that by doing, you are creating the opportunity for an inspiration to come along. So this painting tonight, and I say tonight because it's the early evening for me, it's 6:30 in the evening. Oh, excuse me, in fact, it's 20 minutes to 7 for me. And so it's really about showing just what I do to get me in that receiving mode where I can get inspired. Because sometimes when I paint, it's not about producing the end result. It's actually about feeling a certain feeling. So it could be that I really just want to feel a lot of freedom in the way I'm expressing myself on my substrate. In this case, it's paper. So without further ado, I am going to move the camera, which means I will put my hand over it for those people who don't like movement. I really don't want you feeling sick. Okay, Madonna's having difficulty. The screen's frozen. Back in a few. Okay, cool. Oh, welcome back, Madonna. Has that helped? Good morning, Vicky. How are you today? Oh, Ian's saying that he's preparing a video, a photo montage video of steam train ride to the seaside on Wednesday. Oh, brilliant. That sounds like fun. Right, I'm going to pop my hand over the camera so people don't get dizzy. And I'm going to move my camera onto here and get things set up. Whoops. There we go. Keep changing the temperature of my lamp. Be with you in a second. Oops. Right. Slowly does it, because otherwise it's going to. There we go. So just a few more. Oh, sorry guys. A few more adjustments because that's too close. And that's a bit squint. Really not having much luck with this camera, am I? Ah, here we go. Yay! Woo! Oh, that's better. Can everybody see okay? Mona says, I still cannot believe Tanya's a grandma. She looks way too young. Oh, Mona, thank you. That's so sweet. But seriously, I am. I'm well old enough. Right. Okay. If I move ever so slightly that way. Yeah. not really going to give me an awful lot of room to. Right, I did think maybe I could get the palette in shot, but unfortunately not. Right, I'm just going to pop out my colours now. I'm putting out some burnt umber, some burnt sienna, some yellow ochre. These are pretty much my standard palette colours. So yellow ochre, some cad red light. They're all golden paints that I'm using today. Some quinacridone magenta. And I will also put out some ultramarine blue and titanium white. No, today I'm going to be painting in acrylics. I do have oils, and I did toy with the idea of doing this as an oil painting because I really want to practice my oils. Yeah, I do actually have other cameras, but I didn't set them up today because this isn't about the actual full process. It's not necessarily about the mixing of the paints. This isn't a tutorial or a lesson. So that's why I didn't set up the other cameras. It can take some time to set them up. I've also been having a lot of technical difficulties, so I thought it would be, and of course it proved me wrong. I thought it would be easier just to go with the one camera, and it certainly came back and kicked me on the butt. I need to find a way to actually have the cameras set up that it doesn't take forever to set them up, because there's lots of cables all over the place, and that's why I don't tend to set them up as often. And I thought I would just be easy on myself tonight and just have the one camera to worry about instead of the three that I have. The other reason is the other camera that I use is an action cam, and I've actually had it out and about with me. So it's actually not in my room at the moment. So Gail is saying that she's working in oils at the moment. So got my brushes, still using my Art Sherpa size 8 and 4 in the cat's tongue. I also have a Galleria as well, size 8. And if I can find it, I use my graduate size 2 filbert for some of the smaller details. So that's me set up. Now, I'm just reading some of the comments at the moment. Mona says, funny enough, I've never been interested in painting with oils. I will stick with my acrylics and watercolours, but I think it's fun to watch other paints with oils. Oh, here's one of my oil studies that I done recently. I really enjoy painting in oils. I think most of you will have seen this on my Instagram. I do really enjoy the oils. It's fun, lots of fun. And this painting was done alla prima, so it's not layered. It's all done in one sitting. I really enjoy it. But we'll save that for another time. In fact, I think the oils would probably be a really good one to have more than one camera as well. Right. Okay, so Vicky was saying that she'd said the same for years until I put my first brush load on. Thank you, Mona. Gail says, I was lucky to have an art friend donate oil, medium and brushes to me for my oil journey. Michael Ann says, I did one oil painting and loved it, but I paint in the living room and my husband has lung issues, so I haven't. Okay, so she hasn't done any more. Yeah, it can be an issue for some people. Gail's recently won some oil paints in an online auction, but haven't done anything with them yet. Oh, congratulations on your win. Michael Ann, I might be able to help if you want. There's lots of different solutions. For a start, there are ways in which you can paint with oils without even using any turpentine. Even the low odor stuff, you can actually paint without using anything like that. So there are solutions. There's kind of terps free solutions that you can actually find, but that's a topic for another video, I think. Let's get painting. When I haven't been painting for the chair's just knocked the camera, sorry guys. When I haven't been painting for a while, what I tend to want to do is try to do like quick studies, try keeping my paintings loose. I will use the bigger brush in the first instance, and that's how I kind of start. I'll pick an easy face, so I've picked this one. It's front facing. It's not an awful lot that can go wrong with this face. You know, there's no point in making things difficult for you when all you really want to do is just get paint down on the paper, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I've kind of printed it off roughly the same size as my canvas paper here. It's smaller on the canvas paper because I've got my tape. I'll get my words out eventually. I've got my tape down on it, and so it has then altered ever so slightly the dimensions of the actual surface I'm going to be painting on. But that's okay, because I can do one of two things. I can either look to chop off the same amount on here and just paint what's within the confines of the space that I'm going to be painting here, or I can simply just transfer it slightly smaller onto here, but have it the same shapes here, if that makes sense. Maybe it'll make a bit more sense when I actually start painting. So got my cloth to wipe things off. Gail's asking, so the paint oils themselves don't usually give off lots of fumes? No, no. I mean, there is obviously there's oils in the paints, but the the fumes really come from the mediums, particularly with the terps. And I guess it depends on the I guess it depends on the actual make and brand and how they're actually made. But no, the oil paints don't give off fumes. It's the mediums and things. So Gail's asking, I would love to hear info on oil techniques. Okay. But well, that's certainly something that I can look at sharing with you in the future when I do oil painting. I'm not an expert oil painter at this moment in time, but I can certainly share with you how I like to paint with oils. There's some really good oil painters on YouTube. And Lena Danya, she's a really good oil painter, and she gives really good beginner tutorials. She doesn't do very many, but she does have them. But yeah, I'm certainly more than happy to do a demonstration of oil in the future. That's on my to-do list. There's lots of things on my to-do list. So I'm just basically going to mix up some skin tone. Just using a little bit of red, burnt umber, yellow ochre, and I'll maybe put a little bit of burnt sienna in there as well. So you can see the colour that I've got. It's not particularly dark. I'm just using it just to start the painting, and as you can see, it's blank canvas. Oh, hello, Linda. How are you? So nice to see you. Oh, Linda, that's so sweet of you to say. So sweet. So, I mean, this could go horribly wrong, and I don't care. I'm just going to have some fun. So basically, I'm kind of looking at the shapes. So I'm looking at, there's a shape here. You can see how that's up there. There's one shape. I may bring it down. So, and there's another shape in there. Okay. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, well, okay, so there's that bit there. And that kind of comes that way. And if I don't get it right first time, it doesn't really matter a great deal. So there's a kind of parting there. So that goes along here and down that way. So, and then you can see that that just comes kind of down that way. And the same here, only that this time it has a steeper angle that way. And it comes down here. So as I was saying, there's a shape here. So I'm going to So there's that shape. And I think what I might do is I might look at doing a line across here. So given that that's just a little over the head of the brush, I will probably look at doing it just slightly smaller, because it's actually on a smaller sort of smaller area really. There's a bit of a shadow in here and in here, so that's what I've kind of gone with there. And bear in mind that this is just the start of this. This is not any way, shape or form so I might just indicate that as the nose, and perhaps the lips here. Now you can see that if you draw a line down there and a line down here, you can get where the edge of the lips actually are. I'm just looking at the shadows at the moment. Because I said there's the... So it's just rough. It's not meant to be particularly... And it doesn't have to be accurate either at this stage. And even if I do make it bigger, it doesn't matter. So there is that dark area in there, and there is that dark area in there. So you can see that we've kind of got something going on. Oh, that's nice. I'm sorry you've been missing my lives. It's great to be back. Oh, the abstract portrait, yes. Yes, I remember. Mona says, and there is a face already. It's amazing how it comes together. It is a start, absolutely. And so now I'm thinking, I mean, obviously I've got some decent shadow in there. And some shadow in there. So let's just see about we pink this part up a bit more. Now you can see the kind of pinkiness there. I'm actually just going to fill that in. This is kind of the ugly stage, really. Sometimes it's just about getting that paint down. Might warm that pink up a little bit. Because there's definitely a shadow here. And there's definitely a bit of a V going on in there. So let's see where we're going with the lips here. So a lot cooler, a lot lighter. In fact, maybe even a bit lighter than that. And then kind of, there's that darker bit. And I'll sort the darker bit once we get to that. I may not even put her lips the way that they actually are in the photo. I might just leave it as it is. Oh, hello, Kaylee. I see you there. And whilst I can appreciate that you guys are all sort of watching and learning and you know, very appreciative of watching as I paint this. As I said before, this isn't a tutorial today. This is just showing you the kinds of things that I actually get up to when I haven't painted for ages. And you can see I'm not really caring too much about where the paint is going at this moment in time. Just messing about with the paint, just adding it on. And if you've watched me before, you can see that I'm quite happy to In fact, I think I might actually do a little bit of purple in here as the shadow. And maybe get a little bit of pink in as well. So I'm really just relaxing. You see where my my hands are in terms of relationship to the brush. And that's really just the first layer. And to be honest, the fact that this is all kind of sort of pinks and purples is actually because the printer printed it out the wrong. It's there's something up with my printer, but I thought I'd embrace it and just go with it. So I'm just putting some of the darks in. And I've got a little bit of the burnt umber, a little bit of the magenta, and I'm just kind of mixing a pinky brown, and to darken it, putting a little bit of the aquamarine. And some dark over here as well. But sometimes, you know, what people consider to be possible block isn't necessarily quite as, it's not so much a block as it's just about finding the right frame of mind. So there's some darker areas up there. I mean, who feels artist block sometimes? And I'm actually looking at the camera now, and what I've noticed is that this bit here to this bit here is too long. So I'm going to rectify that. I'm going to, I would say that actually her lips are probably more there. And there is a definite, oops, the definite dark part there. Still a bit big, but who cares? So we've definitely got a bit of a lighter area coming down here. I'm thinking that perhaps the lips are still a little bit weird, but that's okay. We'll sort it as we go. Once we get to the nitty-gritty. Linda's saying, I don't get artist block per se, but I do get burnout. Oh, okay. Ian says, I feel artist block all the time, but part of the challenge of art is pushing through it and getting to the end. Yes. I think sometimes what we consider to be artist block is actually fear of getting it wrong. Because sometimes we have ideas that we want to carry out, but we find that actually we're afraid that we're going to get it wrong, because somehow we don't trust our abilities. And it happens to every artist. It doesn't just happen to me. It doesn't just happen to you. I really do believe that it happens to every artist. I'm just adding just that pink bit in there. And I'll add the pink bit back here. And get the colour in here. So you can see how things can change very drastically. The angle here on the lips is not right. So there, that's a little bit better. The lips are probably going to have to go further up again. To be able to, because you can see this bit here, This is too wide. It's the lips are not in the right place, but I'll just keep going until I get it right. It's as simple as that. And bear in mind the size of brush that I'm using as well. And the other thing to bear in mind as well, when you're using a photograph, by the way, did I tell you that it was from Upsplash? When you're doing a painting from a photograph, one, you don't have to make it look like the photograph. You can put your own artistic twist to it. And two, you can find that there's very little shadows and what have you. Your face looks really quite flat. So don't be afraid to add a bit of dimension. Nothing wrong with adding some dimension. Right, I'm going to change to the smaller brush now. So adding shadows in where you think the shadows should be. Is always helpful. Right. Definitely some light going on here, but there's some dark going on. So I'm going to get some of the shadow, and there is definitely a V shape going on here. So just kind of popping in that nostril there. And I've just got it the lighter colour so that I can see what I'm doing. But then it's also light here anyway, so giving you a sense of kind of where things are. So starting to take a little bit more of a shape. So there's a nostril there and a nostril there. And then there's a definite shadow there. So you can see it's starting to come together. Do you see how her face is starting to be more three-dimensional? It is a cat's tongue brush, yes. Hi, Arby, how are you doing? Okay. Well, you can certainly commission me to do a portrait if that's what you want, Arby. So again, I'm lightening here because that's what's going on. But I'm not wanting to lighten it too much because I'm wanting to keep an indication of the shadows at the edge of the hair, because that's what we would naturally have, is the shadows there. So it's starting to take a little bit more shape. Just getting my dark here so that I can kind of indicate where that actually is. And it's a bit darker at the bottom edge of that lip and just to there. And then it seems to be a little bit nope. Little bit cooler here, so kind of slightly different red here. So it's starting to look a little bit more where it's supposed to be. Although having said that, I'm now thinking that the face is looking rather long, so I might have to change that, but you know, it's okay. I'm really showing you how I'm working all this out. So I'm thinking bringing the hair down a little bit. Maybe getting in some of the shadow again. So do you see how it's coming together? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're looking for. In fact, for the hair, I'm going to leave the face for the time being. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just simply have her eyes shut. I don't have to keep them open. I could do whatever I want with it. Yes, they're the Sherpa's cat's tongue. I've had these for a number of years now. I like that I don't damage them when I'm being rough. I can be really rough with them, and it's actually not damaging them, which is fabulous. That's why I like using them, because I have other brushes that haven't fared quite as well in my hands. Just getting some colour down here. I'm actually running out of the burnt umber. I might have to get some more burnt umber out. Okay, maybe pop some of this colour in. So you can see how you can be really messy. You can really just go with what you want to do. I think I might take some of the blue and maybe some of the yellow ochre and see what kind of green I can come up with. Yeah, that'll do for the background. Just so really I wanted to just show you just how it's okay to just mess about with a painting, because at the end of the day it's really just about getting back into the swing of it. So that's that. I think we're kind of getting there. There's no right, there's no wrong. You can see I haven't really worried about anything in particular. I've moved things and changed things as and when I saw fit. You know, if I see something wrong with the chin, for example, I just go in and change it, and that's the beauty of working with acrylics. So easy to change things. There's yeah, that's a bit better. I'm going to just keep changing things about until I get it right. Simple as that. Is there any questions? Anybody want to start a topic of conversation? Right. I think think there's definitely some shadow areas here. Yeah. Mona said, oh, right, okay. She looks glowy like there's a light behind her. Yeah, I think some of that's the actual light itself. I mean, as I said, it's not accurate at all in any way, shape, or form. But it's getting me to do painting that I wouldn't otherwise do. And the whole time I'm doing this painting, because this is just a quick study, it's not rocket science. If I really, really, really don't like it, I can lock it away in a cupboard and never speak of it again. Oh dear. Oh, hello, Helen. How are you? Right. So, I think probably it might be a good idea now to kind of tackle oops. Tackle the eyes. Made a complete and utter mess of that. But that's okay. I'll go and fix it later with a smaller brush, because it's probably my brush that's not really helped. Right. Darken these, I think. There. And perhaps darken this bit too. And then go back in with the slightly lighter to thin that line out. Like that. Which is very, very, very not accurate, I have to say. I'm thinking that maybe I'm needing to bring the face in here a bit more. Because you can see that there's this area here that I've not got So I'm thinking that needs to be brought along just a bit more, like so. Because this side of the face, there's more of the face than there is on this side. So if you look here to here and here to here, so small and slightly larger. To get the eyes put in, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to use some of the blue and the yellow ochre, because it's a kind of grey blue. Might use a little bit of burnt umber. There we go. I've just put a little bit of burnt sienna in, and I've kind of greyed it a little bit. Now I'm just popping in where I think the irises are. So it's kind of roughly about there. And there is that kind of shape going on here. And then that kind of shape going on here. And again, if it's not right, then I can always change it. So I'm going to add in this color here. Oops. So that's kind of looking about right. Might actually have a little bit more pink in it, just because the way it's been and don't worry about it being rough like that, because then you just come back in with your skin tone and just do that. So you can see, yes, it's still looking a bit gaudy, it's still looking not quite right, but you've got something to work with. Helen's saying that the mouth's lovely. Thank you, Helen. There's a fairy tale quality to it. Thank you. Linda says, this makes me want to try now. We needed another paint along. Yes, we do. We do need another paint along. So I'm going to do some more skin tone. Oops. So now looking at this is probably a bit too high. So I'm going to add in some more skin tone, see if I can get it a little bit more accurate. So slightly darker under this way. So, oops, might help if I had the right colour, wouldn't it? There's definitely more of an angle there. And I might just add a bit more like so, and see if I can't get that a little bit rounder. Bring that down there a bit. Her eyes are still looking a bit weird. Still not quite getting it, but it's kind of getting there. So popping in because I think that's probably a lot to do with, there we go. It's starting to take shape. So I'll try again with getting a green. So there's a bit more light coming in. So it's starting to get there. Eyes are still looking a bit strange, but I'm just going to go with it. Just going to go with it nonetheless. Um, oh, right. So from here, there is a definite right, I think that eye's, yeah, that eye's annoying me. I think that eye is just a little bit too low down there. And I'm thinking that this one here is maybe not quite, I think we're kind of getting there, sort of. Definitely a lot lighter up here. Yeah, it's starting to maybe look a little bit more where it's meant to be. Oh, hello, Dina. How are you? Mona says she doesn't look strange to me. Oh, thank you, Dina. So just getting that crease in there. And the thing with the crease is that sometimes you have to try and get it so that it's there, but then you have to go oops, over it to thin the line out so that it doesn't look quite so in your face. But that's okay. I don't mind. It's about keeping going until you get it. So there's a bit more pinky in here. And that's okay. Right, I'm going to come in here with the lighter color that you can see. And this is not, it's not meant to be photo accurate. So there's nothing wrong with having it not accurate. Because like I said, it's meant to be just a representation and just a little bit more fun. There. As you can see, the eyes, whilst they're not as accurate as I would like them to be, they're there. They're getting on. Gail says, the more you look, the more you see love. Hearing you talk it out. Thank you. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. A bit more shadowy here. And a bit more pinky here. Now sometimes I'm just lightly going over things. I'm not necessarily doing a thick layer. Sometimes I'm really just dry brushing essentially. But getting these shadows is really important to get the actual face to look like it's 3D. Got to go and get set up for our live demo. So see you later. Take care all. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much for joining me. Very much appreciated, and it's really lovely to see you here. Right. Just going to add some details on the lips, but without trying not to just I'm trying not to get too bogged down in the details, essentially. Because I want to keep this loose and fancy free. There's a lot more that I could do to this, but I'm really not that fussed about getting it quite as detailed. I just want it to represent her rather than necessarily look specifically like her, because I really enjoy just experimenting and messing. Trying to get her eyebrows in there. So like I said, it's more a representation rather than a photo, detailed, accurate. All right, okay, let's see about getting the eyebrows. The eyelashes, sorry. Okay, I've tried to do what I did over the other side and it didn't work. So I shall take that out and try again. Right, let's try with a different brush. Let's go with a lighter green. Might have to right, that's a bit too much. Darken it up again. There we go. That's maybe a bit better. Yeah, it's starting to get, there's still not as, there's still something not quite right about this one. Let me see if I can, I think it's because that needs to be a bit darker in there. Right, there. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, and the same goes for the other side as well. Let's get this darker. Let's get this darker area in. And this darker part here. Now, there, that's starting to kind of look a little less skew with. Still needs some work, but there. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Right. Oh, Mona, is that you berating yourself again? Tut, tut, tut. You shouldn't do that. You really, really, really shouldn't do that, my friend. Because, you know, you would never dream of speaking to someone else like that. So why talk to yourself like that? Why do you not deserve to have nice things said? Right, I'm going to put a little bit more burnt umber out. It's starting to actually look not too bad. Why is it okay for you to say to me how lovely my painting is looking when I'm saying, oh, it's getting there, it's getting there, no, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. But then you won't do the same courtesy for yourself. Oh, hello, Dawn. Hello, how are you? Yes, you are your worst critic, and you really shouldn't be. That's kind of the whole idea of this particular video. It's really about having a discussion, even though I've not actually done it yet, but my plan was to have a discussion about how we can be so cruel to ourselves when there's absolutely no need. Because I think when we come back to painting after not painting for a while, our inner critic convinces us that we're just not good. And so we then start to think, well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be painting. So I think it's worth considering that actually we can paint, and we need to stop being so hard on ourselves. That's still not quite the right. I think it needs a bit more pink, a bit more white. There we go. Definitely those white bits there, isn't there? And then there's the dark bits. So you can see how you can really struggle with something, but still pull something out of the bag. I mean, yes, I've taken a bit longer than I had anticipated, because I actually thought I'd be finished by now. But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I've kind of got to grips a little bit with painting again. So it's okay to just not really think too much about it. And just go with it. Doesn't really look like her, but that's okay too. Because my goal was never to do an accurate portrait. My goal was just to mess about with the paint. And come up with something that resembles a painting, which I think I've managed to successfully do. Is it ideal? No. Was it fun? Yeah. And I bet you'll probably find that, you know, if I was to do this again, I would possibly do it the same, possibly do it differently. Right. Okay, that's actually a bit more pink than I had thought. Right. A little bit darker there. Because I'm wanting to get that a little bit easier there, and that a bit pinker there, and whoops, get that there we go. A bit more oomph to the lips, and just get the shape a bit better, like that. Little bit more of a pink area up here that I've kind of missed. So a bit more like that, maybe a bit darker. There we go. And I shall put in her teeth, which are actually a little bit there. A step back, you can kind of see it, but you're not meant to see it particularly well. So there you go. There we are. Probably still not quite the right shape here, but I think we've kind of got some form of lip. Like so. There. Slightly different shape than the mouth that she's got, but like I said, this was never about getting it accurate. This was just about showing you that you can start a painting cold, you can get to a really ugly stage, you can get to the point where you think this is just not going to look right at all, and then lo and behold, you have a face. Would I do it differently the next time round? Probably. But it's okay. Just adding a bit more shadow there. And just highlighting the nose a little bit. It's maybe just a bit too light. There you go. So you can see how the darks and the shadows really play a part. And this is a bit too dark, so I'm just going to lighten it slightly. But you can see how the shadows really help to bring the face, pop it off the paper. And you saw that I messed about with it quite a bit. You know, you can definitely see I was rusty. I haven't done any painting for ages, but you know, lots of fun. Right. Mona says, I think mine will not have her mouth open. I can't paint teeth. Dawn, I got the photograph of Unsplash. I always say Unsplash, and I think it's Upsplash. But it's a copyright-free website that I got. Mona saying, Tanya, hello, who's the critic now? Cough, cough. Yeah, okay. Touche, you got me. Yes, I am a little rusty. So when I haven't painted for ages, I do get a little bit rusty. And the fact is that I've done this portrait in just under 2 hours. In fact, it's been less than 2 hours because I've been on live for 2 hours and there was a lot of faffing about. Oops, a lot of faffing about to begin with. So I didn't get painting straight away. And I can see lots of differences, like between, like the distance here is greater than the distance there, which is why her mouth looks different. But it doesn't look wrong. It's just different to the photograph. Is that 8 by 10? No, it's European A4, which is slightly different to 8 by 10. Let me, I'll tell you what it is. A4 is 8.25 by just over 11.5 inches. So because of the tape, that is just over 7.25 inches by 10.75 inches. Now, would you guys like to see a little bit more up close? Because I will take the tape off to reveal. Mona says, I'm calling her the modern Mona Lisa. Oh, brilliant. Yes, essentially, yes. Linda's saying it's the size of our printer paper. Yeah, pretty much. So, the reveal. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I should have used the hairdryer because it's pulling off the paper. If you warm up the tape, it loses the stickiness off of the back, so it comes off without ripping your paper. But as this is not a painting for sale, oh great, more paper ripped, then I'm okay with it. Woo! Actually, she looks not too bad, does she? Now that I see her. Right. I'm going to put the camera back. So be prepared. Oh. Ah. Crash bang wallop. Way. There we go. Ta-da! Hello, everybody. Right. So, as promised, I'm going to let you have a bit of a close-up. So you can see all the brush strokes. Whoops. Ah. Can everybody see okay? Yeah, just getting some specks off that I noticed. That's a, don't know what it is. It's obviously come off my brush. So there we have it. I don't know how useful that has been. I certainly ended up not talking about half the things I was going to talk about, because I think there's two things that we all need to do to be an artist. One is obviously learn about our medium, learn, some techniques, whether that be learning by experimenting or learning from being taught. But I think the biggest aspect of being an artist is actually more to do with our psychology and how we feel about ourselves, the world, and others. And thank you, Linda. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a tutorial, but I think when people hear the thought process of someone as they're painting, you can hear the self-talk that I have in my head out loud, because I do have some of these thoughts in my head, as I'm painting. Oh, that's a bit not quite right. Oh, I better change that. Oh, that's not looking particularly helpful. I'll change that. And a lot of artists, whether they're professional or not, can have these thoughts in their head, and sometimes people don't like admitting that because it's kind of like showing a weakness, but actually it's perfectly normal. And I think it's one of the things that I'd really like to get across to all my creative friends, because just because somebody has these thoughts in their head doesn't make them any less an artist than someone who says that they don't have them in their head. Because just because they say they don't, that doesn't mean to say that it's true. Not necessarily trying to call out anybody as being liars per se, but some people just don't like to admit what they think might be seen as a fault or a weakness, or that they're not particularly professional if they admit to these types of thoughts. But more and more I am hearing more and more professional artists will actually say, yeah, I sometimes have bad days and I make bad art. But I wanted to really show you what I do when I haven't painted for ages, and the types of thoughts that I actually have in my head, I was saying out loud, as a way to kind of show you that I'm not immune to these kinds of thoughts, but I'm still an artist, and I'm still a good artist. And I'm sure that there are people out there who would consider me not to be a good artist, but that's okay too, because they're allowed their opinion. I'm not going to judge my level of artistic style, of artistic level, just based on somebody else's opinion of my art. And that's been something that I have been conscious about and teaching myself over the last few years, since I got back into art and since I got back painting again. Michael, thank you. She's saying it's inspiring. Mona says, I will try and paint something similar this weekend if I manage to get it done. Is it okay to share it in the Tartanite Tribe group? Of course it is. You can share any of your artwork in the Tartanite Tribe group. Absolutely. You are a creative Tartanite, so of course you can share your creativity. Madonna, this was fun and informative. Thank you so much, Tanya. Good to see you again. Oh, thank you. It's good to see you guys again. Linda, to make something so beautiful in a couple of hours is what makes you an amazing artist. Loved hearing your thought process. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Gail says, when I first started saying I was an artist out loud, it was hard, but it helps. Let your mind know, yes, you are an artist. Absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, whether you're a hobbyist artist, whether you're a professional artist, whether you're a part-time artist, whether you're a full-time artist, you're still an artist. You're still creative. And don't let anybody take that away from you. I've just recently been watching podcasts, and they've been very interesting podcasts, and I've been really quite inspired by hearing these podcasts. But equally, they've been, you know, with people who are a lot further advanced than I am, and I was starting to hear myself thinking, oh well, that's fine and dandy for you. You know, your art is of a different level to mine, of a better level to mine. But then I had to rein my thoughts in and say, well, actually, you know, that is comparing my level, my journey to somebody else's journey, and that's really not helpful. It doesn't help at all, because then it becomes quite disheartening. And I've also heard it's Andrew Tischler, I think that's how it's pronounced. He's an oil painter, and he is doing a podcast that's also available to see on YouTube called the Creative Endeavor. And I've even heard him say that, you know, oh, there are people who can paint far better than me in the world. So we all do it. So if you do it, it's normal. If you have these thoughts in your head, it's normal. And that's kind of the message I was really wanting to get across in tonight's live, was that, you know, we can have these thoughts, but it doesn't make us any less of an artist. It doesn't make us any less of a creative. Because being an artist means different things to different people. And it's also okay to be an artist without wanting to sell your art. There's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with with considering yourself a hobbyist, or even just simply considering yourself an artist that just doesn't sell their art. However you want to label yourself is up to you. You know, you don't have to fit in these little neat boxes that says, well, you're this type of artist, you're that type of artist. You know, if you don't want to call yourself an artist, don't call yourself an artist. At the end of the day, it really is just a label. It's just a word to describe something. It's a descriptive word. Creative as well, you know, it's a descriptive word. And at the end of the day, they're just words. So I hope that this has been of some assistance, of perhaps inspirational, and maybe you're now in the mood to go and paint with acrylics. Linda says, I would like to sell some to get supplies because I'm a supply hoarder. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? And yes, Mona, you are an artist. So let's talk about that, Mona. Why can't you say you're an artist? What is it about the word that's intimidating to you, Mona? That's an interesting concept, that you still cannot say I am an artist. What is it about that word that's intimidating? Because at the end of the day, it's just a word. It doesn't define you. Yes, I'm proud to call myself an artist, but it still doesn't define me. because I'm so many other things. I'm a mum, I'm a, you know, I'm a nurse, I'm a daughter, I'm a grandmother, I'm lots of different things. So what is it about the word artist that you find intimidating? Okay. Can I challenge you on that, Mona? Mona's just said, I do not know, maybe because I do not paint regularly often enough. I had this picture in my head, an artist sits and paints daily. Okay. I don't paint daily. But you would agree that I'm an artist. So why would an artist have to paint daily? There are artists who do paint daily. And if you want to get your art to move forward, then yes, it's always a good idea to paint as much as you can. But I mean, equally, you know, I'm not trying to force you to call yourself an artist either. I'm just having a discussion because I'm kind of challenging your concept of what an artist might be. So what would you say that you are then if you're not an artist? Mona says, yes, you are an artist, you're another level than me. Okay. But that, it just means that you're a different level artist. No? Equally, it's okay to not call yourself an artist. If you really, really feel that you don't want to call yourself an artist, then that's also okay. But this was more of a, let's have a discussion about it and let's challenge some concepts and preconceived ideas. But equally, your opinion is also your opinion, and it's important and it's valid. So if you really don't want to call yourself an artist, that is equally okay. Michael Ann's saying that she can't paint daily either. Mona says, maybe I think I'm not good enough. A problem I have had all my life with anything I have done. Low self-esteem I fight all the time. Yeah, it can be a challenge. It certainly can be a challenge, not feeling or thinking that you're good enough. But if you consider that our thoughts are simply that, they're thoughts, they're not, they don't have corporeal form, they can't hurt you. You know, thoughts are our own thoughts, and we have control over our thoughts, and we can change our thoughts should we choose to. So I appreciate that you're being so honest in a sort of public area. So thank you, Mona. We are good enough. We are all good enough. And we as human beings, for some reason, we tend to err on the negativity. So we will focus in on what we think we can't do, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we can do. let me put it this way. There are not that many people who will feel the same way you do, as strongly as you do, Mona, and have a YouTube channel. There are some, but there's not many. So when you consider what you can achieve, what you have achieved, then give yourself credit for the things you can do and focus a little less on what you feel that you can't do. I've heard a lot over the years from people saying things like, there's no such thing as can't, it's won't. Because we're in control of what we say, what we do, how we react to things that happen. We're in control of much, much, much more than we give ourselves credit for. And I've just recently been telling someone that thoughts are not life-threatening, because our thoughts cannot actually harm us. Our reaction to our thoughts can be harmful, but the actual thoughts themselves are not harmful. And Linda, it's okay to not want to put something on YouTube. It's perfectly acceptable action. There's nothing that says everybody has to do it. So it's okay. Oh, thank you, Michael Ann. So is this making sense, Mona? Is this helping any? Because if I can help you as my friend, then that's absolutely fantastic. And if I can help even one other person to kind of try and challenge their own thoughts and think about, well, what am I actually doing to myself by continuing with these thoughts? I've just recently, now let me grab the photograph. Most people will have seen it. If I can find it. Most people will have seen it because it's my profile picture. But I'll tell you a little secret about me. For years, I wouldn't go in front of the camera. Found the picture. I would not go in front. I did occasionally go in front of the camera because I had to on certain occasions. But generally speaking, I did not like getting my photograph taken. As far as I was concerned, I was not photogenic. I didn't look, I always had I did this, so I had the double chin, and even when I was younger, and I was slim. I was very slim when I was younger, but yeah, I still seemed to do that when I got my photograph taken. It turns out it's got absolutely hee-haw to do with the fact that I cannot be photogenic, and more to do with I think Jordan says you still slim. Thank you. So I've recently been challenging those thoughts that I'm not photogenic, and I have been taking photos of me that I would consider beauty shots. So this is one of them, and this is my profile photograph at the moment. And I've got grey hair and it's frizzy because I'm getting older, and it's got a life of its own. It does its own thing. But I put on a pretty top. I put the flowers in my hair to kind of hide a little bit of my hair, if I'm honest. I didn't put any makeup on. I deliberately didn't put any makeup on. And I took this photograph. It is. I set it up on the tripod. It was timed, and I got that photograph. I got loads of terrible photographs because I wasn't in focus. It was all fuzzy and out of focus. But eventually, when my camera focused on me, I got that photograph. So there are ways to change our minds about what we think and how we feel about what we think, because our thoughts produce our feelings and our feelings produce our thoughts. It's a bit like the chicken and the egg, which came first. Oh, hello, Kylie. Hello. How are you? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Jordan says, you remind me of Snow White. Oh, thank you. Only I don't think Snow White had grey hair. Jordan says, I really am an amateur photographer too. Oh, that's fantastic. Excellent. I do love my photography. I really, really do love my photography. Let me see if I can show you another one of my photographs. Right. Here's another one that I've done of myself. So there's another one. It's not as close up, but I'm still in the photo. So, you know, for years and years and years, I wouldn't go in front of the camera, and now you can't stop me from getting in front of the camera. Occasionally, I'll be like, no, I'm having a bad hair day, and I won't go in front of the camera. But you know, I've got costumes. In fact, my Instagram is Taz _ creates _ photography, and there's my photographs are there. It's a new account. It's not long since started. I still have my art account, which is Taz, and some of my photographs are on there, but it's mostly artwork now. I've done a separate photography account. Oh, thank you, Kyla. That's so nice of you to say. Mona, you take fantastic photographs. You take some lovely photographs of flowers. I love your flower photographs. There's some really nice photographs that you've taken, and I particularly like the artistic flair that you put into our challenge, which I'm going to publicly say I am so sorry that I lost my way with our challenge. I got to about day 8 or 9 or something, and I ended up not being able to finish the rest. Again, that was to do with life getting in the way, and I'm so sorry, Mona, that I kind of stopped halfway through. It was such a fantastic challenge, and I was so looking forward to it. And I did take quite a lot of photographs for it, but life gave me a kick in the side, basically, and I really wasn't able to do it. So I'm so sorry, but your artistic flair for getting the theme of all things whimsical, absolutely fantastic. You were inspiring. I was really quite, I mean, I'm always impressed with your photographs, but I was especially impressed with these ones because you and I, it's our challenge. So you and I spoke a lot about it. And you were really worried that you wouldn't be able to know how to get whimsical into a photograph. But you are so you were so spot on with your photographs. I really, really enjoyed your artistic take on making a photograph whimsical. It was absolutely fantastic. Yes, I love the ones that she does, that she shows on IG as well, on Instagram as well. Absolutely. And Ramona's saying, yep, you know, I was worried. Yes. And you outperformed me. So, you know, you're a star. I really enjoyed seeing your photographs. I don't even know if I can begin to think about which ones were my favourites. I liked Teddy with the rock, with a sad face. That was really cool. I loved the fog one was good. And I loved the one where you put whimsical flowers in the photo. That was a really good one as well. Oh, hello, Laura. You're still with us. The challenge was great, and I tried my best to post a pic every day. Yes, I saw your pictures in the group, and I was most grateful for the people that were going to be that participated in the challenge. It was pretty awesome because there are some really good photographs and some really good takes on the whimsical theme, the overall whimsical theme, with the actual individual prompts of the day. Yes, you did use a self-portrait. You're right. That was fantastic. So yeah, well done you, Mona. Absolutely, well done you. One last thing I would like to say before I kind of wind this conversation up, because we've been going for 2.5 hours. So I really appreciate everybody that's here and has stayed here. Thank you to Mona for being moderator, fantastic moderator as always. And thanks for everybody who stopped by and hung out with me for a little while. I'm going to be doing the challenge for the Creative Tartanite Tribe is a little bit late in being announced, but I'm on annual leave at the moment, which is why I'm trying to catch up with things. And I am going to go live in the group to do the challenge for this month. I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up, because we are in September already. We're on the 6th of September, and this month, this month is we're going to carry on with the theme of whimsical, and this month is creating something whimsical, and I'm going to be doing a whimsical face. So that also ties in with our good friend Ayala Art, who does the 29 faces in September as well. So that'll tie in. So anybody who's doing the 29 faces can do a whimsical face, and that will be part of the Creative Tartanite Tribe challenge. So I don't know when I'm going to go live yet, but I do plan to go live, and I'm going to do a full demonstration on how to create a whimsical face. So that's the challenge for September in the Creative Tartanite Tribe. Linda says, sweet, I might be able to get one in. Fantastic. Brilliant. So I'm just checking to make sure I haven't missed any last minute questions, thoughts, or ideas. Is it okay if I share the 29 Faces link? Here it is, yes, but not in the Tartanite Tribe group. But yes, feel free to share the 29 Faces link here, because I love to support my fellow creators, and Martha is a lovely person, and I really enjoy Ayala Art as the channel. So yes, absolutely. So that's it really, folks. I really do appreciate the time that you've spent with me. I mean, it's 9 o'clock now here in Scotland, so it's almost my bedtime. Yes, Martha is a lovely person. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Any last minute thoughts, questions, or concerns that you would like to put to me before I say ta-ta? Linda says, thank you so much. It was great to see you. Oh, that's nice. Great to see you too. I always have so much fun. Linda says, I love Martha too. Yes, she's lovely. Okay. You're very welcome, Gail. And at the risk of sounding like a criticism, my name is spelt with an A, not an O. The only reason I correct it is because if you're ever trying to search for me or look for me, then actually having it as an A and not an O will probably be helpful. So I hope you don't mind me saying that. But as I say, it's really just about that. If people are trying to find me and they've put in Tonia and not Tania, then it can make all the difference. But you're most welcome, Gail, and thank you for being here. Oh, good to know. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Really is time for me to go now. So love you all. Bye for now. Oh, where's my mouse gone? Ah, there it's.